Happening right now, demonstrations at Emory University as a day of unrest continues into the night. This is video from just before 9 o'clock tonight as law enforcement tried to disperse protesters and move them off campus. Students are protesting, calling for a ceasefire in the war in Gaza. They've been gathering all day long, and earlier we saw large groups broken up by police who used pepper spray, zip ties, and a stun gun to make 28 arrests. 11 Live's Bobeth Yates has been following the protest for us tonight. She's live from Emory University. So, Bobeth, what is happening out there right now, and what have you seen?
Well, in the last hour, we saw about 1,000 protesters being dispersed by law enforcement. They were on the quad, a very large group, very rowdy at times, but they kept their distance from law enforcement. That group, again, was dispersed. Now, what group didn't get dispersed is this group right here. Right now, a group of theological students here at Emory are actually waging a sit-in inside their building in the lobby. They say they will not leave this lobby area until their demands are met. So this is just one of several protests on campus today. Dozens of students and faith leaders came together to pray for peace, but some of the students from the Candler School of Theology took their efforts a step further, deciding to take a stand after peaceful protesters were pepper sprayed and arrested for not dispersing Thursday morning.
And when things dispersed on the quad earlier today, we thought to ourselves, you know what, as people who are being trained to be religious leaders, we really need to be able to step up in this moment. And so what we decided to do was occupy this space.
The group says they will occupy the lobby of the Candler School until their demands are met. Those demands include the arrested students being released from jail and charges dropped. They also want an apology from the dean of their school, and they're willing to get arrested for it.
In this building, we know that there is a chance that we will be met with that same level of force, but we just believe that what's going on right now demands us putting our bodies on the line.
But that wasn't the only protest on campus. Thousands of students gathered on the quad, also calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. But law enforcement quickly dispersed that group, and this time around, no arrests were made. But off campus, pro-Israel groups gathered to take a stand in solidarity with the Jewish community.
I do pray. I pray for the Jewish people, but there's also action. And at some stage, we need to step forward and stop these people from harassing and hurting people on campuses.
Again, a large group of protesters, about 1,000, were on the quad here at Emory University, but were dispersed by law enforcement. We're told there were no arrests, but we have not followed up just in case that has changed in the last hour. Now, I want to also point out that this group right here, they're definitely inside this building, and they say they're not leaving. In fact, they have their food and all the supplies they need to be here for some time. Live in Atlanta, Bobeth Yates, 11 Alive News.
All right, Bobeth, thank you so much. Meanwhile, Governor Brian Kemp is responding to tonight's protests and arrests, saying in part Americans have watched with horror as radicals have terrorized Jewish students and forced them to evacuate from their dormitories and classrooms. He goes on to say college campuses in Georgia will never be a safe haven for those who promote terrorism and extremism that threaten the safety of students.